What's up, everybody? Welcome to SportsCasters. This is episode 8 of SportsCasters Media. And on behalf of the SportsCasters Media team, we would like to personally thank you for tuning into today's episode. Enjoy.
Tell us live. Yeah, I am the king of the E. Hey, get it like the DJ. Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of our SportsCasters Media podcast. I am your co-host, Emma Houghton, joined alongside our other co-host, Julia Santos. And, of course, today, episode 8 is brought to you by Rel's Revenge and Official Slim Dem Music. We are accompanied with our founder, Chris Lyles Jr., and our recurring analysts, Matthew Anderson and Sterling Harris. And we have a super awesome lineup for you guys today. We are joined by a group called GameChangers. We're going to have an awesome, super lively debate where sportscasters and game changers are going to go at each other, and it's going to be really great. So, GameChangers, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing all right. It's a lot going on this week with the social injustice in the NBA and the NFL, all these other different types of leagues going on. But I'm doing all right. Glad to be here.
Awesome.
I'm good. Can't complain. I'm just ready to get this show on the road.
Awesome. So I think one of the themes of Sportscaster thus far has been our debate around MJ versus LeBron. So I know that Chris and Sterling this is now our part 3 of the debate. So they have been going at it. And now for part 3 is the perfect time to bring in some new perspective. So GameChangers, I want to start with you. Who is the GOAT of basketball, Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
Shane, you can go first.
Okay, do you want a winner or do you want like a great player? In my opinion, winning, like great player or GOAT, which is great of all time, I'm gonna go Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan is a winner. No matter what the circumstance is, no matter what the outcome is, he's a winner. So I'm gonna go Michael Jordan. But LeBron James, he's in that category as well. But I got him in honestly third because I have Kobe. It's MJ, Kobe, then LeBron. But LeBron, he's working his way in there. So yeah.
So my view of this is these are two totally different time areas. So you got MJ in the 80s, 70s, and you got LeBron James from the 2000s to the 2010, 2020. Although the careers are both similar, Michael Jordan had that killer instinct that he gave to the game. Same as LeBron. LeBron, what he does, he can facilitate and do so many things in one play. Michael Jordan couldn't do that. But you got I'll take killer instinct over everything. Although Michael Jordan had better competition than LeBron, in my personal opinion, he had better competition than LeBron. That makes Michael Jordan better because he went through so much more than LeBron. Because look at it. LeBron, knowing that he went to 9 straight NBA finals, been in the playoffs. But you got to think about it. Michael Jordan has been undefeated in the finals. LeBron only lost, 6 times? I only came up with 3 rings in the 9 finals. That's just the way it is. I have to take Michael Jordan.
Okay, so I can see literally Chris is jumping out of his seat here, getting started. I don't want to go too left, but I wanted to just say something quick. I know that I'm not the only one who saw Luka hit that shot and thought, oh, maybe a couple years down the road he gets inserted into this conversation. But I don't want to go there. Chris, I'll start with you. MJ or LeBron?
It's too early.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna let Sterling go first. I want all the MJ people to get where they got to get out of the way first. So Sterling,
you want to
go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
You know where I'm at. We got to get you to respond to. You got to respond to Jalen right with this one. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Cool. So let me ask y'all something.
All right.
When you think about team sports, you think about basketball. How much does a coach have to do with the overall success of the team?
He has everything to do with the team. Because without the coach, you can't win.
Okay, cool. So when you look at a coach in Phil Jackson, we're not even going to go back to before Phil Jackson came on. I'm talking about the Phil Jackson that got them boys at 6 chips. You mean to tell me that if Phil Jackson was not on that team, you think they would still won 6 chips?
So we talking about Phil Jackson now. Hold on, we talking about coaching now. Whoa. So you gonna take away the whole greatness of how that era went? Oh, so you gonna put it in coaching perspective. So if that's the case, Kobe and Shaq rings don't mean nothing either. Kobe and Pau Gasol rings don't mean nothing either.
Kobe in top 2. I put Kobe behind LeBron because you
What?
You putting Kobe in the same like category as Michael because at the end of the day they're both the same players. You basically putting copy A and copy B. It's the same player. There's no difference. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and then you put Phil Jackson still on the Lakers. I mean, still got them boys. Well, got Kobe 5. So my thing is this. I firmly believe that, and this is just one aspect of it, if Phil Jackson was able to coach the LeBron James, that man would probably have won all of, how many times has been in the final? What did you say, Jalen? 9. He would have definitely won all 9. So I do believe that Phil Jackson played a vital role in why Michael was able to achieve what he was able to achieve. That's not taking away his killer mentality. That's not taking away, just his overall talent. My thing is, from a winning perspective, going off of Shane of what you just said, his winning.
Yeah, winners.
Right. You got to have a good coach to have you in that same the pieces in order for you to win. So with that said, Phil Jackson, that's a big key part. I mean, but that's y'all's goal. That's not mine. I mean, look, after I saw the last dance,
so
go ahead.
No, so you saying coaches-wise is why LeBron is your goal. We talking about players now. We talking about the tangible, the player. Like LeBron James. Like we talking about LeBron James.
Let me ask you this, one-on-one. Who will win between the two?
Jordan.
Jordan. It's Jordan. 6'9", 250, and can move faster than Jordan.
But you gotta look at it like this. He is 6'6" with a lethal mid-range. Who can stop that?
Detroit Pistons.
Come on, when they
the bad boys.
And then you gotta think about it. Within the first few years, you dropped 63 points against the greatest Celtics team of all time.
And lost.
And lost. I would take that. I would take that. Because when I watched the last
did the same thing. LeBron did the same thing and lost. But y'all not gonna count. But y'all not gonna count LeBron when he lost. Who he lose? He lost to.
Oh, we know what.
Okay. When I saw him drop 54 by himself against Golden State in that game 1, I was like, okay, this dude is legit. Like, he is legit. He was averaging a 45 plus triple double.
What year was that?
And lost that series.
What year was that?
This was, I think, 2017.
Yeah, when they got swept.
17.
This is not really for y'all.
This is not really for y'all. This is really for the media. Why is it that when he can drop 63 against Larry Bird, no one ridicules him for it, but when LeBron goes out and drops 54 on arguably one of the greatest teams in basketball, I said arguably, then why he ain't do this? Why he ain't do that? And it's like, okay, your boy did the same thing.
You got to come away with a W. Because with all stats.
It's the same thing versus with Michael Jordan not winning against the greatest Celtics of all time. That was a different era than what we're living in right now. So people are going to see it differently how people saw it back then with Jordan. That's all I'm saying.
Which is very true. But all I'm saying is that whatever you give towards LeBron, it's the same thing kind of like when the Mavs were playing the Clippers and Kawhi switched off on Luka and Luka hit that game-winning shot. If LeBron would have did that, everybody would be down LeBron's throat. I don't see nobody on Kawhi.
I think people will be saying, is he worthy of being the king? Is he worthy of being the GOAT status now? That's what somebody would say. But that's Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is only 21. He's only 21 in the league, carrying this team with a soft ankle.
Right.
45.
All right.
Probably will be MVP within the next 3 years.
Sterling, it seems like it's Sportscasters and GameChangers against Chris, so I want to give you the final word here.
I'm going to actually come to LeBron's aid on this one for a little bit. Jordan's still my GOAT, but I think you brought up the 51 game or the 54-point triple-double, whatever he had game one, and LeBron's finals losses. One, I don't count three of those finals losses. Okay, he was outmatched. He had no chance in winning. When he played the Spurs in 2007, his second best player was Mo Williams, I think. Not even Mo Williams. It might have been Eric Snow. Whoever was on that team, I can't remember.
I give it to Mo.
It was Mo.
LeBron James on that team. So, and they play against the Spurs with Tim Duncan, Manu, Tony. All them boys still pretty fresh for their careers.
But who fault is that? Who fault is that?
With Greg Popovich, the greatest coach of this current era.
That's just how the tables turn. Who fault is that? The East is weak. We all know that. The East is weak. The East is weak. We all knew that. We knew that.
Talking about back then or now?
Right now.
Like it's still on the. It's on the come up now. It's on the come up now. But the East was weak back then. Nobody was winning that East. Nobody.
But he's saying for LeBron.
Wait, time out. Wait. Hold on, saying. You do know that the next year that the greatest Celtic one-chip dynasty happened, right? When they beat Kobe's Lakers. Remember that? That was
one time.
That was a very next year. So let's not say the East was so weak at that point in time. But so that's one of LeBron's losses. You can't fault him for that. The second one is clearly the finals loss against the KD added to the Warriors. Who is beating that team? I don't know. I could say Jordan give a run for his money, but as far as I'm concerned, without, I think, Kyrie Irving that next year when it was just LeBron and Kevin Love and I think George Hill, whoever's on that team against that Warriors team, the year previous to that, I believe he could have had some fault in that because I think it was still – he could be the one that tips the balance. But at the same time, it's okay. You got a two-time league MVP, possibly the greatest scorer of all time, possibly the greatest set shooter of all time, and a point forward, and Steve Kerr running the offense for Golden State. That's a pretty hard team to stop. I'm not gonna put that on LeBron James. The 2015 finals when his coach was David Blatt. I mean, my lord, against that stuff.
Listen.
He lasted in the league for how long? Do you know how long David Blatt lasted in the league?
I'm saying though, it sounds like.
Let me ask you this.
It sounds like perspective.
Okay, so let me ask you this: if Kevin Durant was not on that team, and the same outcome would have been the same outcome without Kevin Durant, would they win the finals?
Will Golden State win the finals?
Would Golden State win the finals without Kevin Durant?
I believe they could, but I wouldn't put
they
it.
Did before.
I wouldn't put it as a detriment to LeBron's career losing.
I mean, I say that because we know that Kevin Durant going to the team that beat him, they was up 3-1 now. They lost. That next year, he went to the team that beat them. Isn't that a bandwagon move?
It's called I want to win.
And then on top of that, you had James Harden.
I want to be a winner.
You talking about Kevin Durant going to OKC? You talking about Kevin Durant going to the Warriors? You talking about Kevin Durant going to the Warriors?
Yes.
And you talking about what LeBron did from going to Cleveland to the Heat?
Like what is that? Like what?
That's two different things. That's way two different things.
Oh my! He started it.
Let me ask you. Go ahead, Shane. Matt, hold on, wait. Matt, you say something.
We're not gonna win one. We're gonna win 3, 4. Well, we're gonna bring Miami on. What? Are you serious right now? He started it. He made a whole big speech and all.
Matt,
what's up?
Matt, take all of this in and process it for us, and give us the last word because we're gonna move on after your last thoughts here.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, I'm definitely taking Jordan as the best player. I love it. What is it? Never went to Game 7 in his 6 rings. I like his style of play, and I like that he brings out the best out of his teammates. However he does that, whatever it takes, that's what happens. But they get to the championship game, and I'm sure Steve Kerr and those guys appreciate him now. Now, with this LeBron thing, I didn't mind. I know a lot of the world didn't like it, but I didn't mind his move to Miami. I did not mind it. I thought that was the best for his career. He ended up going there, obviously winning the championship in Miami, then taking that mindset, going back to Cleveland and winning one with Kyrie. So I didn't mind the move to Miami, and now he's actually giving a lot of these players a lot of mobility or the idea that they can do so.
So I didn't mind that. But yeah, I'm going with Jordan. Sorry, Chris. Your back is against the wall on this one, but it's how it is.
I'm still Jordan's
That's
my
still
GOAT.
my GOAT, man. I don't care.
I'm gonna say this. I'm
let
gonna say this. Can I say one quick thing before we move on?
Jalen, go ahead.
So I do commend LeBron of what he has done off the court with the school and helping people get registered to vote and all that, during the tough times that we got going on.
That's a good point.
So I just
That's a good point. That's a nice way to end it. And we saw Sterling go left here when he's been mad about Jordan in the past. But I'm about to kick it over to Julia for our topic 2. While I do that, I'm admitting somebody into this group chat right now. He is related to our founder, Mr. Chris Lyles. He has some super interesting perspective on this next topic. So, Julia, over to you.
Okay, so this next topic, we're going to switch it over to 2 legend boxers, Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson. So if they were 2 up in the ring, who do you guys think would take over that fight? So I'll go over the game changers for you guys' opinions first on it.
Knowing that Muhammad Ali is obviously one of the greatest athletes to be ever seen, well, to be watched, because his hand speed, the way he carried himself is phenomenal. I get the path of what he came through, but I gotta go with Muhammad Ali. I mean, yes, Mike Tyson is arguably one of the most greatest heavyweight boxers of all time. I get that, but it was what Muhammad Ali did for what people saw him as. That he was Islam. He went over to Islam, did what he had to do there, and he fought for so much. It's like how with Colin Kaepernick. People call him Colin Kaepernick the reincarnation of Muhammad Ali. Mike Tyson, he has big arms, big legs, great uppercut, great power, all of that. But no, over Muhammad Ali, no. I can't do it. I can't disrespect the legend like that. I can't do it. Shane, what you got?
I'm gonna go with Mr. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Yeah, Muhammad Ali, man, it's him. Like, it's just he would brought boxing to life, in my opinion. Like he implemented what boxing was. Like he was a great heavyweight fighter. Like everything he stood for, just like Jalen said. So I'm just have to go with Muhammad Ali hands out. Even though Mike Tyson is a great heavyweight fighter as well, but Mike Tyson, he was more of a knockout artist as well too, though. Muhammad Ali, he just with the bobbing and weaving and knocking out people as well. I'm just have to go with Muhammad Ali all around.
Mr. Chris Lyles Sr., I think that you're a great aspect in this because of the fact that, you grew up in that time period. So we all want to hear your aspect and what you think your opinion is on this topic.
Well, thank you very much. I'm not as old to have watched Muhammad Ali in his prime, although the gray hair may fool you. But I do, first of all, appreciate you all for allowing me to share your platform with you today. As I thought about the topic, I actually will have to side with Mike Tyson, and here's why. Now, for all the reasons that were already previously mentioned in regards to Muhammad Ali, exceptional athlete, the political and the social stances that he had made him, in fact, the greatest. He is the GOAT. Take nothing away from Mr. Ali. Rest in peace. But here's why I go with Mike Tyson. The reason now we're talking strictly boxing now. We're not talking about anything outside the ring. We're talking if we stay in the ring. The reason I go with Mike Tyson, and of course, if we're talking dispensations in certain eras. So I'm talking Mike Tyson that has won the Golden Globe, that has just won the Olympics, that's now on the crux of winning his first championship, boxing championship, unifying the belts. This is when Cus D'Amato, his original trainer, is still living. And this is the reason I'll give Mike Tyson the edge over Muhammad Ali. During that period of time when Mike Tyson fought, he had a certain fear that drove him, a fear of his opponent that literally unleashed him like a pit bull. Now, although, many would say that he wouldn't last beyond 4, 5, 7 rounds or more. And Muhammad Ali was absolutely the ring master that could take you the distance. But there was something about the way Mike Tyson approached his opponent during the Customato years, because he used fear as that driver. I'm not talking about the Mike Tyson when he hooked up with Don King and started to get arrogant and thought that people were just intimidated when he would walk to the ring. But when people would see him as a Customato tutor, prospect, or working with Customato, when he would come to the ring, they would say they would see literally emptiness in his eyes. And there was nothing that they could leech or grab hold to try to intimidate him, even as they would go up and touch gloves. So I think that Mike Tyson, with the relentlessness, with the power, and then on top of that, motivating the fear factor, because he used that as his medicine. He used that as his tool. And again, not the arrogant Mike. I'm talking about the fearful Mike that literally stepped into the ring and fought for his life. I think that's a different animal that Muhammad Ali never faced before. George Foreman had power. Kenny Norton had power. A lot of the other opponents that fought with power, Muhammad Ali could box his way through it. But there was something about that Mike Tyson, that particular Mike Tyson, that I don't think the champ would have been able to overcome.
And I'm going to go ahead and agree with you. I say, what is it? I got it right here. 23 TKOs, 21 KOs, 41% of his fights ended within 3 minutes. I'm going with Mike Tyson on this one.
And you know what? I said earlier this week, I said, my pops and I, we were talking about it. I was like, I got to go with Ali. I started looking up some stats, and I started watching highlights. And I actually started watching film on him. And one of the things that I saw was that fear factor of what he just mentioned. I mean, that's different. Ali was an exceptional athlete. But when you can actually get inside your opponent's head, that's a whole different level. You achieved a whole different level as an athlete to be able to put fear in your opponent, especially in a hand-to-hand combat type of sport. So, I got to go with Mike on that one.
Sterling?
All right, so we got he went into depth about Tyson's power, intimidation, fear, and usually when we talk about the psychological advantages that Tyson could put over his opponents, that's where you're leaning towards his relentlessness, his his drive, his I gotta kill right out the gate. But here's how you counter that, in my opinion, with Muhammad Ali's trash talk. Usually when people are like that in sports and they know that with how they perceive themselves and present themselves to the public, that they can drive fear into another opponent. So when I'm thinking about Muhammad Ali, I'm thinking about the Muhammad Ali from the film when everybody counted him out against George Foreman and everybody's saying he's too old, he can't do it. And he psychologically tricks himself into believing, I still got this. I'm a trash talk George Foreman, say the champ is here, all this. I know he's a big whatever, he's supposed to knock me out in 2 minutes, but I'm Muhammad Ali. I can out talk anybody's fear. I can out trash talk anybody that wants to walk into the ring with me. And they look at me, they look at a dude that's not phased or anything. So then when you take away the fear factor that you say Tyson could impose on a person, I think it bounces off of Ali. I think he goes in there saying, everybody thinks he's supposed to scare me, and I'm the greatest talent that ever walked in the ring as a heavyweight. I'm going to float around this ring, drag him into my game, and then knock him out in the 10th or before. That's how I feel. I think Ali wins that fight because I think all the intimidation goes out the window with him. He had a different mind. He still had a different mindset himself.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Chris. He had that ruthless aggression type style to his boxing. Like, he would talk so much trash to people and back it up so easily. I just like how Muhammad Ali was just a laid-back person. He would do the same thing too, but he wouldn't do it that much. He was just a laid-back person. And what he said he was going to do, he was going to do it. That's all I wanted to add.
Can I clarify one thing, please? So the fear factor that I'm talking about is not the fear that Tyson would impose on his opponents. I mean the fear. There are certain interviews that if you go back and watch his early fights, as he started with Customato, he would talk about the fear he had himself, his fear for his opponents. And it was that fear that drove him to that place of relentlessness that would ultimately, cause him to just be in rampage mode, beast mode from the opening bell. So I'm not talking about, I think it was later when he started to gain consciousness, became aware of his ability to impose that fear on other opponents. But I'm talking about the early Tyson when he was just so green. He was just so novice. He was just so oblivious to what and who he was in the ring that he literally feared for his life. And he fought out of that fear. That's the person I'm talking about.
Okay, well, thank you again, Chris Lyles Sr., for getting on this topic with us. And before we hop off last topic, I want to transition it over to Emma.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Lyles, thank you again. You had us silent for about 4 minutes straight, which never happens.
Oh, wow.
So
appreciate that, y'all. Thank y'all again so much. I appreciate it. Much love and respect. Appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so for our last topic, we only have a few minutes left, so I want you guys to try and be as succinct as possible. We're going to transition a little bit, stay on the GOAT topic, but in women in sports. So Game Changers, I'll start with you. And Julia, maybe actually I'll start with you. Simone Biles or Serena Williams, who is the better athlete?
I'm going to have to go with Serena Williams. Easily right off. I think it's because she has been in the game longer. She's versatile and she's just always been dominating even after having a kid. I know that Simone Biles doesn't have a kid, so you can't say that and can't compare that way. But because she came back after, going through something that a lot of women can't go through and they're not the same, that she still stayed on top. So I could give it to her for that.
Hey, for some quick stats, you got 319 weeks ranked as the number one in the world, 2 miraculous comebacks from health issues, like you were saying, and the 23 Grand Slam single titles.
And, I mean, when you look at someone, when you call them an athlete, I look at somebody who can literally play just about every sport. And not to discredit Simone Biles, but I feel like Serena could literally touch every single sport if she wanted to. And just because of her build, just because of the way that she plays and just her tenacity of how she plays tennis, I feel like that can carry way greater into any other sport, whether it's basketball, soccer, softball, those different type of sports where women pretty much, thrive in. So, I mean, I got to give it to Serena too.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree as well. Serena has that it factor. Like, she just knows what to do to win. Like you said with the stats, 23 grand slams, the miraculous comeback after the baby, because sometimes that's hard to do. That's almost impossible to do for a female, and to come back even more like impeccable. And she's just a great, phenomenal woman. So I'm just giving it to Serena. But Simone, she's on the come up as well. She's a young up and coming athlete.
Yeah, I have to agree with Serena. I'm just picking up, I agree with what everybody said, but we got to take into consideration, it's not just Serena. You have Candace Parker. You also have Diana Taurasi that's doing big things in the WNBA and all that. You also have a lot of these, I don't know the swimmers off the top of the name, but you also have the national team, the swimmers, that's doing big things too. So Serena Williams, in my opinion, she's inspiring young African-American females to achieve in not just tennis, but in sports. For example, Coco Gauff. She has been an inspiration. Coco Gauff has been inspired by the Williams sisters for years, and now look where she's at. She's able to compete on the worldwide stage doing what she does. So I tip my hat out to Serena.
Yeah, Jalen, I think that's a great point. And I think Simone is maybe at a disadvantage just because gymnastics isn't even on half of the global scale that tennis is. But when you talk about the off the court, the impact that Serena has, I feel like at that point it's untouchable. And that's from endorsement deals and financial and what she's able to do with injustice and social activism. So we were unanimous in our Sterling, do you agree, Serena?
No.
No.
Let's hear it.
Y'all know how many medals Simone Biles has at her current age of 23?
Talk to
He
us.
doesn't even know.
It's about 23. I'm going to go with 23.
Medals. Simone Biles has more medals and and wins in terms of her whole 23-year career, I guess, than Serena does in her 38 to 23 that she has. In a sport where in tennis, right, we have over 250,000 tennis courts across the United States. There's only about 4,000 gymnastics gyms that are available in the United States of America. So we're talking about a sport and where what they do extravagant, like just the most ridiculous things you could see a human do in midair, defying gravity, ridiculous strength, stuff like that. And I just feel like her as an athlete, right? She's doing things I feel that is just harder for normal humans to do. Like normal humans can't just do what Simone Biles do. I think if you practice hard enough, you can at least play tennis with a casual here and there, but you can't just walk into a gymnastics gym and flip on a beam or whatever they do. That's difficult.
That's a good point.
She's still ascending. She's been breaking records left and right. She's still going up. I think she's the greater athlete.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Okay, well, Sterling, thank you for that. I'm sorry, guys, we're cutting short on time, but I'm happy to be able to have this conversation with you guys, and I hope that we can again soon. So thank you again, Game Changers, Shane and Jalen, for coming on, and thank you everyone for tuning in to our special episode, and I hope we see you guys next week on episode 9.
This podcast is brought to you by Official Slim Dev Music and Rails Revenge. Stay tuned next week for more on Sportscasters. See you soon.
Yeah, I am the king of the E. Hey, get it like the DJ. Yeah, I am the